What's good, YouTube? Vakasa Coffee here. So we're diving into some Tim Minchin for you. This is another one from Isaac. I decided we're gonna do all of the Tim Minchin requests that we've gotten on the Tim Minchin videos because I really like his music and we have a lot of cool conversations when it comes to his lyrics. And I know that you guys enjoy the topics that we get into with him very much and enjoy those videos. So Tim is a very special kind of artist. He has many different styles and different elements to what he's capable of doing. He can stretch his voice in really any direction. He has so much talent when it comes to playing the piano, and his lyricism is some of the best that I've ever had the opportunity to read out and study and break down. So I appreciate you guys introducing me to him. Thank you so much for the support. If you're new here, go ahead and subscribe for me. We talk about mental health, addiction, world issues, everything in between. Break down all the lyrics, instrumentation, stage performance. Since this is the only video of the night, we're doing a really long live one. This is 13 freaking minutes long. So I'm not sure if that's going to be all song or if he has like an interlude section kind of thing that he does during the live of this. So we will see what Tim Minchin does for 13 minutes with us tonight. I really love that he gives really long performances and writes really long epic songs and stuff like that. He always has a lot to say and he offers a lot of emotion and insight. I do believe, in my own personal opinion, I think he's a very insightful and well thought out artist. He, like I said, can get into every single bag, whether it's serious or emotional or funny, absolutely hilarious sometimes. So we're going to get into this for you, Isaac. Thank you for your request, my friend. I appreciate you. If you guys need help with mental health or addiction, please go get it. There's people that care and want to see you do better, myself included. I pulled myself out of that stuff. So it's a really deep issue to me and very personal. So please go get help if you need it and go live your best life. I appreciate you guys. We're going to get into this for you. I'm Vakasa Coffee. A reaction video today keeps the doctor away. Fuck those apples. We got Tim Minchin, If I Didn't Have You.
Right, good. So I'm married. Ages ago, I got quite a long time. I've been married for a while. I got married to my wife. Seemed appropriate. She was my childhood. You know, they call it childhood sweetheart. I met her when I was 17. I met her when I was 17. And actually, here's something that's probably quite uncommon these days, and probably something you don't want to know. But I actually lost my virginity to the woman I ended up marrying.
Tim is different. He's different, bro.
It's not quite as sad as it sounds.
I can't with this guy. He doesn't care, man. He doesn't care. He'll just lay it out for you. That's what I love about him. He's a very honest person with the way he says things. I appreciate that in a person, honestly. Very awesome vibe when it comes to... he's like awkward about it too. He's like, I know I'm about to make you feel awkward, so I'll be awkward with you at the same time, right?
But it's pretty fucking close. But I love her. I love her very much, you know, and I've written a lot of songs about her. Come, I thought you left because of the God bashing. So, it's so hard to tell these days. You know, Pentecostal, small bladder. Oh, I don't know. You know.
He's too much. His jokes are like, he could be a stand-up comedian, honestly. If he just... I mean, it's funny. He kind of incorporates stand-up into his performances when he gets into a talking segue between a song or something like that. He's a very funny person.
I've written a lot of songs for Sarah, for that is her name, over the years, and I always try to include one in my show just as a sort of thank you, really, because I just can't imagine my life without her, basically. And so this is for you, Sarah. It's called If I Didn't Have You. Yeah. If I didn't have...
Oh dear. He's too much. He's like... It's so unexpected whenever he just dives into stuff like that. Like, he made it seem like he was going to continue talking for a really, really long time, and then he just instantly goes into this funky, groovy kind of thing where he has that sarcastic tone inside of his voice almost constantly. It's just a thing with him, and you can never, like, it's hard to take him serious after he's been making you laugh like that, but he's writing a love song here.
And so this is for you, Sarah. It's called If I Didn't Have You. Yeah. If I didn't have you. Yeah. If I didn't have you to hold me tight.
Okay.
If I didn't have you to lie with at night. If I didn't have you to share my sighs and to kiss me and dry my tears when I cry, you will lie.
He wrote it in like a boy band style. It's like Backstreet Boys kind of shit. That's fucking funny, dude. I love him. See what I mean? You never know what genre he's gonna decide to do. He's not even playing piano right now. He just decided to have a freaking boy band moment with this track right here. I wonder if he's gonna switch genres throughout it. He's known for that too, but this is funny right here. I like the first words. He says, if I didn't have you to hold me tight, if I didn't have you to lie with at night, if I didn't have you to share my sighs and to kiss me and dry my tears when I cry. That's very heartfelt right there. That's beautifully written. But the style that he's doing it in is classic. He decided to give us a throwback kind of style with this one. This came out in 2009, so yeah, it would have been a bit of a throwback even then when he put it out. I love the vibe. I love him for this.
Really think that I would have somebody else if I didn't have you, someone else would do.
He's such a jerk sometimes. In the best way possible. It's all jokes. It's all love, obviously, but he's too much. He said, well, I really think that I would have somebody else. If I didn't have you, someone else would do, he said. He's like, yeah, I guess I would have to move on from that scenario. He's his brutal honesty whenever it comes to making serious songs like this is one of my favorite things about him, because he likes to spin things and not take it too seriously. He always has that playful nature inside of it. Obviously, he's just joking, and he loves his wife very much and is grateful for her, as he said. But I mean, as a high school sweetheart kind of scenario, that's rare, so that's a very cherished thing between two people when they make it that far together. But yeah, he just likes to throw jokes around as you would after being like near somebody and like close to somebody for that long. You're kind of just gonna start picking fun at each other and making jokes and stuff towards each other to keep things interesting and to occupy each other with some fun times. And he's just playing that right here. If I didn't have you, someone else would do, he says.
There's one in a million. You couldn't buy it at any price. But of the 9,999,000 of the possible, statistically, some of them would be equally nice.
I love it. I love it. He said, your love is one in a million. You couldn't buy it at any price. He says, but of the 9,999,000 other, That's 36 possible loves. But he says thousands, obviously. But if you add up his nines, he said it 4 times. So we got 36 possible loves. Statistically, some of them would be equally nice, he says. Statistically, some of them would be equally nice. He's not fucking lying, but it's funny. His approach is comical. Like, if I would think it was hilarious if somebody wrote me a song like this from my own personal perspective, because I'm just like, I enjoy funny, witty stuff like that. I think it's good to have jokes inside of like a bond with somebody and everything. So I love that Tim plays on that in his love style songs sometimes. He plays on comedy so well, but he's obviously doing that to really, like, if you love somebody a whole lot, you want to make them laugh generally, like as often as possible, and make them have a good time. And that's his way of doing that for Sarah, as his wife's name is. He's just like, I'm gonna make you laugh while I write you a song about how I love you, but statistically it could be anybody fucking else. He's too much, man.
Maybe not as nice, but say smarter than you, or dumber but better at sport, or fucking tracing. I'm just saying, I probably have somebody else.
Yeah.
If I didn't have you, someone else would do. If I were a rich man,
This guy's funny, man. I love him so much. He said, hold on, let's go back up right here. He says, okay, so he says statistically some of them would be equally nice, or maybe not as nice, but say smarter than you, or dumber but better at sport or fucking tracing. Yeah. It's a fucking mixed bag, right? There's all kinds of people nowadays. You never know what you're gonna wind up with. Very, very interesting possibilities. Tim's like, I don't even know what to say to tell you how they might accomplish that, but maybe they're dumber than you and better at sport. I'm just saying, I really think that I would probably have somebody else. If I didn't have you, someone else would do. Tim, I don't know what we're gonna do with this guy.
I guess I would be with a surgeon or a model or a rally of the Royals or a Kennedy or an infomaniacal exhibitionist heiress to a large chain of hotels.
Oh no, oh my goodness, he went everywhere. I didn't think he was actually gonna go through with like listing off a shit ton of them like that. That's fucking this guy. He said, if I were a rich man, which he probably is, but whatever. This guy, man. Fiddle diddle 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 dee. I guess I would be with a surgeon or a model. Or a rally of the Royals or a Kennedy. You gonna go for a Kennedy? This guy right here. A relative, he says he's gonna go with a relative of the royal family. Tim betrays his Australian upbringing by using Oz slang. He pushes buttons, man. He pushes buttons. Tim Minchin is like the Eminem of piano music. I don't know how else to put it, man. Listen, some of the stuff that we have done and covered by him, especially the song Prejudice, some people would take high offense to that sort of stuff. right? And Tim don't care. He really doesn't care. He says, I guess I would be with a surgeon or a model or a Raleigh of the Royals or a Kennedy. He says, or a nymphomaniacal exhibitionist heiress to a large chain of hotels. Tim, shut up, bro. You can't say that. I'm telling you, he's like some... Did he channel Slim Shady for this specific section of the song? Like... Oh my god. I clicked on the annotation and I was not disappointed. He says this is presumably a reference to Paris Hilton. Obviously the wealthy heiress to the Hilton Hotel estate, a model and infamously an actor in a 2003 sex tape. Absolutely. Can't believe we're having that conversation on here, but here it is.
If I were a rich man, maybe I would fiddle, diddle, diddle with the rich man girls.
If I were a rich man, I would fiddle, diddle with the rich man girls. Tim, you're going too far, man. She's gonna beat you up by the end of this song. He's gonna sleep on the couch. Tim's going to the couch for a while after some of these choice words that he's decided to select here. He was doing alright at first. He was doing okay up here when he was talking about statistics and everything. But now he's just really broken it down to the wildest fantasies of a human brain, and he's thrown them out directly on the plate in the middle of a love song. This guy is so amazing. This is one of the greatest things I've ever seen. Like, the approach to a love song being this, you couldn't help but laugh your ass off if somebody wrote this for you. It's one of the greatest ways to, like, relieve stress inside of a person's life and, like, show them that you care about them, is to just make them really laugh their ass off. And obviously she knows what Tim's all about from years of experience with him, and she knows that he's just being Tim here.
Not saying that I'd not love you if I was wealthy or handsome, but realistically there's lots of fish in the sea, and if I had a different rod I would conceivably land some. Even though I am fiscally consistently pitiable and considerably less Brad Pitt than Brad Pitiful, am I really so poor and ugly that you think only you could possibly love me? And
Hold on. These are bars. Sorry, you just started rapping in the middle of this. In his own way. In his own Tim Minchin way, right? Well, the cadence is so unorthodox and interesting. The way he strings words along with his sentences is very different. It's very brilliant. I love his approach, and I love that he's not scared to be different. That's my favorite thing about him. He's very, very different. I'm not saying that I'd not love you if I was wealthy or handsome, but realistically, there's lots of fish in the sea. And if I had a different rod, I would conceivably land some. Land some. He's gonna bring the fish to land, but land some, girls. Tim, you gotta chill, dude. It's supposed to be a love song. You're not supposed... What are you gonna do with this guy right here? What are we gonna do with this guy? You just gotta love him, man. That's about it. He says, even though I am fiscally consistently pitiable. That is beautiful wordplay. And considerably less Brad Pitt than Brad Pitiful? Am I really so poor and ugly that you think only you could possibly love me? Shit. He's too real, man. He's brought the rationality of human circumstance and possibility into this. This guy is so different. One of the most incredible things, man. This is one of the coolest things that we have ever had on the channel, hands down. Great wordplay, beautifully crafted.
And considerably less Brad Pitt than Brad Pitiful. Am I really so poor and ugly that you think only you could possibly love me, and I probably have somebody else?
Yeah.
If I didn't have you, someone else would do. I'm not undervaluing what we've got when I say that given the role chaos inevitably plays in the inherently flawed notion of fate. It's abstruse to deduce I found my soulmate at the age of 17. It's just mathematically unlikely that at a university in Perth I happen to stumble on the one girl on earth specifically designed for me.
Dude, shut up. Bro. He knows. Bro, he gets it. Oh my goodness. That is one of the deepest things I've ever heard in a song. Hold on, I want to let him finish the next section too. Hold up, Tim. Hold on. I just gotta dive into this. He said, look, I'm not undervaluing what we've got when I say that given the role chaos inevitably plays in the inherently flawed notion of fate. It's abstruse to deduce that I found my soulmate at the age of 17. It's just mathematically unlikely that at a university in Perth, I happened to stumble on the one girl on earth specifically designed for me. If you know about that kind of stuff, it is highly unlikely for you to actually ever run into them in a lifetime. I mean fucking highly unlikely. And Tim just said that in one of the most beautiful ways. But he's also kind of admitting that he, by some crazy stroke of flawed fate, he fucking actually did at 17 at a university in Perth. Wow. It be like that sometimes. You never fucking know who you're gonna run into, and they might be your soulmate. That's... Tim. And what he is about to say here, I read the first lyric already. He is too good.
And if I may conjecture a further objection, love has nothing to do with destined perfection. The connection is strengthened, the affection simply grows over time.
He just simplified it. He said, and if, see, he talks about the soulmate connection and it being so rare and everything like that, but he worded it very, very eloquently with the lyricism inside of that. Some of the most beautiful lyricism I've ever heard. He says, and if I may conjecture a further objection, I love his fucking technical speech. I love that he uses real, like, language terms and shit like that. And he doesn't have basic vocabulary, which you get a lot of basic vocabulary in a lot of music nowadays, specifically. Tim ain't about that, man. You gotta know language to understand what this man says inside of his songs, or you're gonna be lost. He says, and if I may conjecture a further objection, love has nothing to do with destined perfection. That is a beautiful bar. The connection is strengthened. The affection simply grows over time. He's saying you just can't give up on the situation with another person. That's literally all he's saying. He's like, I don't think it has to be fate or that I necessarily even found a soulmate. Love was never meant to be perfect in the first place. It's meant to be strengthened over time through circumstance and struggle together and experiencing life together. Wow, that's beautiful. His mind is so beautiful. This lyric sheet is really long. This song is long. This is amazing.
Like a flower, or a mushroom, or a guinea pig, or a vine, or a sponge, or bigotry, or a banana. And love is made more powerful by the ongoing drama of shared experience and the synergy of a kind of symbiotic empathy or something.
He is such a considerate person. Really. Very considerate. He said like a flower or a mushroom or a guinea pig or a vine or a sponge or bigotry or a banana. Love is made more powerful by the ongoing drama of shared experience. That's what I just fucking said. And the synergy of a kind of symbiotic empathy or something. We need to take notes from Tim on life. The way he views the experience of life is very special. It really makes you feel like kinda silly if you're a panicked kind of person whenever you look at the way Tim considers things in lyricism like this. It all makes sense. He makes things make sense. And if you really take the time to look at what he's saying and the deeper message inside of it, he's explaining how love should work and how it should blossom and grow. And how at the end of the day you just have to share experience and sometimes dramatic occurrence with each other to just truly appreciate the bond that you have with each other. And nothing could be more factual. Tim should be a fucking therapist, for real.
So I trust it goes without saying that I would feel really very sad if tomorrow you were to fall off something high or catch something bad. But I'm just saying, I don't think you're special. I mean, I think you're special, but you fall within a bell curve. I mean, I'm just saying, probably. I think you are unique and beautiful. You make me happy despite being around. But objectively, you would have to agree that, baby, when I found you, options were relatively thin on the ground. You're lovely, but there must be girls as lovely as you, and maybe more open to spanking or fucking table tennis. I'm just saying.
Man, it takes a special kind of control to not start laughing when you're saying certain things. And Tim has mastered that. Sometimes you'll catch him laughing, and it makes it even funnier, right? I think he might have at this last bar in this section here. I think I did hear a little giggle there. He said, so I trust it would go without saying that I would feel really very sad if tomorrow you were to fall off something high. That's one way to put it, man. That's one way to say it. Or catch something bad, but I'm just saying, I don't think you're special. He says, I mean, I think you're special, but you fall within a bell curve. A normal distribution, sometimes called a bell curve, after the shape it makes when plotted on a graph, is a type of probability distribution, a math function that provides the probable occurrence of different outcomes in an experience. He said, "You're special to me, but you're rather average, honestly." But he says that's fine, though. He's like, "I think that that's fine." He says, "But, I mean, I'm just saying, I really think that I would probably have somebody else immediately afterwards." And then he follows that with, "I think you are unique and beautiful. You make me happy just by being around. But objectively, you would have to agree that, baby, when I found you, options were relatively thin on the ground." Sometimes it's like that. Yeah. You're lovely, but there must be girls as lovely as you. He says are maybe more open to spanking or fucking table tennis. Does Tim have a fucking thing for table tennis? Like, he's like, I don't even know what they would be better at, right? Or open to. He's just listing random circumstance that he could have fallen into. I'm just saying that I think that I would probably have somebody else. Fucking Tim. I can't with this guy.
Probably. I mean, I reckon it's pretty likely that if, for example, my first girlfriend Jackie hadn't dumped me after I kissed Winston's ex-girlfriend Nia at Steph's party back in 1993, enough variables would probably have been altered by the absence of that event to have meant the advent of a tangential narrative in which we don't meet, which is to say there...
I love this. This is so brilliant. I really appreciate his thought process. This is very well thought out. I don't even know how could you be mad at this? Like, it's just pure genius. This is some of the most genius lyricism I've ever had the privilege to hear in my entire life, honestly. Tim is, like I said, he's a very special artist. I am really grateful that you guys introduced me to him.
Just a theoretical, hypothetical, parallel life where what is not as it is, and I'm not your husband and you are not my wife, and I am a stuntman living in LA, married to a small blonde Portuguese skier who, when she's not training, does abstract painting, practices yoga and brews her own beer, and really likes making
Hold on.
home movies and suffers neck down alopecia.
I'm about speechless. This is crazy. He says, I mean, I reckon it's pretty likely that if, for example, my first girlfriend Jackie hadn't dumped me after I kissed Winston's ex-girlfriend Nia at Steph's party back in 1993, enough variables would probably have been altered by the absence of that event to have meant the advent of a tangential narrative in which we don't meet. He says the tangent would have fucking shifted to a narrative where we never met each other if I wouldn't have fucking kissed Nia at Steph's party. I probably never would have met you. Tim just really, oh my god. Tim has thought about this love so much that he knows the exact moment that would have changed it all. If you know, you know. Butterfly effect, bro. He says, which is to say there exists a theoretical, hypothetical, parallel life where what is where what is not as it is, and I am not your husband and you are not my wife. I am a stuntman living in LA, married to a small blonde Portuguese skier who, when she's not training, does abstract painting, practices yoga, and brews her own beer. And really likes making home movies and suffers neck down alopecia. Shut up, dude. That is beautifully, beautifully written. Storytelling at its finest, and he's just writing possible narratives of parallel existences. That's all he's doing. He's not being literal. He's not saying this to like be mean or ignorant or sound like an ass. He's literally considering the hypothetical parallels of fucking the universal existence itself and the butterfly effect. What a genius. This is a brilliant song right here. One of the best I've ever heard.
But with all my heart and all my mind, I know one thing is true. I have just one life and just one love, and my love, that love is you. And if it wasn't for you, darling, you possibly somebody else. Someone else would surely do the motherfucker, yeah.
What's he gonna do now?
Yeah, I wrote that song because I thought after all the nasty.
Okay, so now he's gonna give us more of a speech after the song and explain himself a little bit. I like that. I like that he would take the time to do that. Some people might not understand the context of what he's doing with this approach right here. It's absolutely genius on a universal perspective. He is wildly talented. This is some of the best music I've ever listened to in my life, lyrically. The storytelling, the references, the way he thought this out to sound so brilliant, the wordplay, even going off on like what I would call Slim Shady-esque tangents in a boy band style song. Leave it to Tim Minchin, man. What a special artist.
No, so I should write something that wouldn't offend anyone, you know. But there's always one, you know. I came out of my show a couple of months ago and first started performing that song, and there was a girl, a young woman, waiting to talk to me, 19 or 20, I reckon. And at some point I said, "So, did you enjoy the show?" And she said, "Yeah, it was really good, mostly." And I went, "Okay, what didn't you like?" And she said, "It's just, I liked it all. It's just that if I didn't have you, the sexist one." You know, I just don't like sexist, that sort of
The sexist one, she says. Yeah. He's about to explain the one that didn't quite understand the contextual hilarity of it.
sexist comedy. I just don't find it funny. I was just sitting there the whole time thinking, what it would be like, you know, being your wife, being the subject of such a sexist song. And I said, "Oh, you studying feminism at uni?"
Oh, that's a very big argument nowadays. You guys know that. You guys know.
I didn't say that. I should have said that. But I realised immediately that she'd made a mistake, because she obviously thought that was a song about love or relationships or something. It's quite clearly a song about maths. And also, I thought, well, what a hypocrite, you know, because actually, if you think about it, she was being sexist in making the rather condescending assumption that my wife as a woman couldn't handle that, you know, sort of humour, that my wife is some kind of wilting flower of a woman who cowers in the corner of my kitchen as I periodically beat her with bags of comedy oranges. But that's not the case. I mean, it's just...
He's saying, oh my god. He's saying right here, right now, he's like, my wife can handle me, trust me. He's like, acting like I'm beating her with bags of comedy oranges.
Sarah and I share a sense of humour. Obviously, we've been together almost half our lives. She made me like this. However, if anyone still thinks I'm sexist, I'll give you an example of Sarah's sense of humour, just to clear it up. A little bit of backstory for this one. A couple of years ago, Sarah and I went and did a baby, and it was good. You should definitely do one if you want, but I want to tell you something, because I didn't know this, right? When you first get your first baby, when they're little things, first couple of months, you spend your whole life scared shitless, because tiny babies, they sleep all the time, and when they sleep like this. They go...
He should be a voice actor. He could be a voice actor for real. Fuck you, baby! And that's how little babies are. So anyway, when my baby was about that age, sort of 2 months old, my wife and I, it was evening, it was, nighttime, and we put her to bed in our little cot, in our little room, in our little house, in our little lives, and we were sitting there on our medium-sized sofa watching quite a big telly, and just trying to watch a movie. It's evening, and just trying to relax and chill out together. And about a quarter of the way through the movie, I said to Sarah, I'm just going to pop in and check on the baby. And Sarah said, Tim, don't go and check on the baby. Just sit down and relax for once. I mean, if she's asleep, you'll just wake her up. And if she's dead, there's not much we can do about it. We might as well watch the end of the movie. Get an hour and a half more happiness before our life collapses. So don't worry about my sick fucking wife. He says my wife is solid as can be. He says you should hear the shit that she says. I love his stand-up, man. Whenever he does stuff like this, we've seen it like maybe one other time on the channel. He got into some stuff where he used the stage and moved around a lot and got into his funny voices and storytelling. I love whenever he does that.
Although, have you noticed, everyone has a line, don't they, with dark humour. Everyone has their line, I've never met anyone who doesn't say, yeah, I've got a really black sense of humour, I really like dark comedy, but everyone has a line, that's very funny, that's very funny. Oh, I'm outraged, I'm going to write a shit letter to a bad newspaper, I find that line difficult to navigate, I always have, even in my private life, and still. Just a few months ago, I was in my kitchen, and my baby, who at that stage was not quite 2, was just wandering around the kitchen. I was making a sandwich. I noticed she'd found something and stuck it in her mouth. They'd push in the mouth. And I said, darling, come here. What have you got in your mouth there? Spit it out. Good girl. Darling, you don't put coins in your mouth. Coins are dirty, aren't they? Coins are yucky. Yeah, you don't put coins in your mouth. Your mouth is for food. And a little later on, cock. See? Fucking knew that was funny, right? That's funny, isn't it? Exactly, but my wife was in the kitchen. And my wife was like, Tim, For Christ's sake, you can't say that. She might like pussy.
He does not give a fuck, bro. Tim, you are too much, my guy. Oh my goodness. That is probably the most jaw-dropping fucking moment we've ever had on the whole channel. Tim, you are ridiculous. This guy needs to chill. Tim, you gotta chill out, my guy. The lyricism in this, though, my god. This is some of the best crafted lyricism I've ever heard in my life. This guy is fucking insane, and his stand-up is wild. His stand-up is more wild than his songs. Good lord. My word, Tim. You gotta chill out, my guy. This is one of my favorite things we've ever had on the channel, hands down. One of the best breakdowns, best discussions we've ever had. So technical, so well crafted on the language side of things. Tim is wildly talented, like I said, and the jokes that he has are ridiculous. No fucking pun intended. This guy, fucking insane. I really, really love this song a lot. One of my favorites we've ever done. This is one of the best things I've ever broken down for you guys on the channel. Isaac, thank you for this. We had a long-ass video in this one. Freaking 13 minutes of Tim being a menace. And his wife, like he said, thinks that this was hilarious. Like, it's her kind of humor. And I appreciate that. I appreciate that they've learned to share that kind of humor with each other, where they can just not be offended by each other, and they can really joke around about circumstances, and he can make a whole boy band love song about how he could easily end up with anybody else and he would probably still be just as happy, but he happens to be here with you working it out, because that's what love is all about, strengthening a bond with each other and learning through the experience of life how to grow together. And he's like, so ultimately I choose that over all of these possible tangents that could have gone on in life. I love this right here. One of the best things we've ever done. Like I said, original video in the description. As always, subscribe to Tim. This guy is ridiculous. Go show him love on his music. I'm excited to check out some more stuff from him. Easily one of the best artists that I've ever heard in my life when it comes to a technical level of lyricism and everything like that. Seriously, one of my favorites I've ever listened to. So thank you guys so much. Please go get help if you need it. Go live your best life. Pull yourself out of your problems. Then inspire and help others on the other side of it. Thank you so much for your support on my own recovery. I appreciate you guys. I'm Vakasa Kavi. A reaction video a day keeps the doctor away. Fuck those apples. Leave a like for me, comment those suggestions, subscribe up this way, bang the notification bell for me. I'll see you guys in the next one, so love you so much. Thank you for everything. Have a blessed night. Peace.